Hi guys, Tracy here with a spooky Halloween layout. I'm just using my Blackbird add-on kit from Scraptastic. I just have the add-on for the Blackbird kit this month, and I'm going to use this picture. It's not a great photo. This is the sketch that I'm using. It's by Susan Stringfellow, and I absolutely love her sketches. And this is the sketch for this month of October, and you still have a bit of time to get your sketches in for the sketch challenge over at Scraptastic, so check out the blog. I'm just picking out some paper. This spider web paper is from Teresa Collins from the Masquerade collection, from the Masquerade Party collection. And I'm just cutting a long strip. I'm gonna stick sort of close to the sketch, but I'm changing the background a bit of the sketch. So I really like that top left hand corner where there's some kind of horizontal lines and then a vertical line, but I'm not going to put a large square in the background of this layout. Instead, I'm going to use more of a negative space type of approach. I just cut a little fishtail banner there just by folding it in half and cutting an angle so that the fishtail looks even. And I want to use some of these die cuts from Glitz that came in the kit. And some of them are just too big. I'm going to end up using that owl on a card, but I really love the spider web, so I'm gonna keep that. I snapped a photo there just to make sure that I didn't forget, because I wasn't exactly sure what I was gonna do next. And now I'm going to outline the papers, and I'm using, well, I was using my Stettler pen, but it's running out a little bit, so now I'm using a Pitt pen from Faber-Castell. My Zig Writer has run out, so I'm using my backup pens now. Just doing a double outline on all of the pattern papers, including the banner. And that just gives them some definition and makes them stand out a little bit from each other. I like to do that when I'm layering different pattern papers together. I outline on pretty much every layout, unless if I'm trying hard to do something that looks a little bit different for me. So I'm just trying to go back to exactly how I had it laid out the first time, because I really like the balance of all the little pieces of paper sticking out at the different kind of sharp angles. I really like the kind of zigzag look to this. Not really zigzag, but kind of like the over horizontally down at a perpendicular angle and then over again at a perpendicular angle. Those are Pebbles chalkboard stickers, and I took the October 31st one. I'm also going to use the Eek one, but I'm going to layer it. So I just peeled it off there because I want to put something underneath, and I wasn't sure what yet. So I just took the scrap from the strip that I had put on the other side, and I used a piece of wax paper just so that that sticker wouldn't stick. I wanted to be able to play around with it a little bit. So that triangle paper that has dark grays and orange is from Glitz, the Raven collection. Those die cuts are from the Raven collection. The web paper is from Teresa Collins, and the stripe is from Carta Bella. It's the Happy Haunting collection, that little diagonal stripe that I'm using a little strip on. Now I wanted to challenge myself to use at least 3 stamps on this layout, because I don't use a ton of stamps on my scrapbooking layout, so I just wanted to kind of challenge myself a little bit to do something a little bit different and use some of my supplies. So I picked out that cloud and moon stamp from the Scraptastic. These are all from the Blackbird Scraptastic stamp set. It doesn't come with the kit, it's a separate purchase. And so if you're looking to buy these stamps, they're from the Blackbird stamp set. One of them says things that go bump in the night, and the other one is moon and clouds and stars too. So now I wanted to put another horizontal element at the bottom to balance off with the horizontal striped piece at the top, but I wanted to add a bit of interest, so I just used my Stampin' Up! Scallop punch. And I just wanted to cut it off so that it was so that it ends mid scallop. I'm going to do the same on the other side, and I'm just going to put it a little bit off center from my photo, just to add a bit of interest. And I thought about outlining that piece, but I kind of hate outlining scallops, and also where I'm going to be putting a title on it, I didn't want the outlining to compete with these skinny letters, because the outlining wouldn't be much thinner than these letters because they're quite skinny. So I decided to not outline this piece, just to allow the title to stand out. So I'm spelling out Spookarific, and I haven't completely. I like to do kind of like really fun titles for my Halloween layouts, and I hadn't totally committed to this, but I thought I'd just spell it out and see how it fit, and then I liked it once it was out. And then I just used the other letter stickers to put night. I thought about doing Spookarific Halloween, but that sticker looked a little bit too flat and boring. I liked the look of the kind of zigzaggy, kind of bouncing baseline word of the night, if you know what I mean. I like how I could kind of make the letters all offset and go up and down to make it look more dynamic. And I'm trying to do that as I put these letters on. I'm putting them on a little bit crooked and a little bit overlapping and up and down a little bit, just to kind of make it look playful. And those letter stickers are from the Glitz Raven collection. It's just a big set with lots of different fonts. I'm going to outline that scrap of that little strip of horizontal orange, and that is again from the Cartabella Happy Haunting collection. I'm going to layer it there with some number stickers with the year, this is an old photo. It's from last year. I don't usually scrap old photos, but with seasons, like with Halloween and Christmas, sometimes I get an extra layout from the previous year before I get photos for this year. And so here I am just kind of layering these pieces together. I want the the moon and clouds to kind of float out like that. And then I put October 31st. That was a stamp that came in the kit. And then there's the 2013. I'm growing out my hair, so you guys have to excuse my terrible hairdo in this video. I didn't realize you'd see it. So then I put that eek up in the corner. I just cut off the part that looks like a speech bubble. And now I'm going to stamp this stamp. I just did a little test just to see how it would stamp. And there it is. It's looking a little flat, and so I'm going to add a little something. But I wanted to make sure that I knew what it was going to look like before I did, so I'm going to do a little experiment. But first I'm going to stamp the other stamp here. So this is the phrase that says things that go bump in the night, and I just stamped it on vellum using stays on so that it would stay on. And I'm going to punch it out with a circle punch. This is my 3-inch circle punch. I almost punched it with that, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm going to have too much space around it. And now I wasn't sure if it would fit in this one, so I didn't want to waste any vellum, so I just stamped on a little sample piece of paper, cut it out, and it does indeed fit, and it's a nice scale for the layout as well. So I'm going to switch punches. That was a good last minute idea to kind of change. And sometimes vellum doesn't punch all that great, so there was a bit left and I just trimmed it off with my scissors. Whew, that went fast. I hope you got all that. So now I've got that things that go bump in the night piece of vellum that I'm going to kind of toy around with where I'm going to put it. It's going to go in a couple different places before it finds its home. I thought about putting it there, and I actually really like it there, but I had another idea for that spider web. Basically, I keep my Halloween stuff all in this drawer, and I bought a package of those plastic spider rings a couple of years ago, and I've been putting at least one on every Halloween layout every year for the past 3 or 4 years. So I kind of felt like I needed to use a plastic spider ring on this layout. So it's kind of my tradition. So I just cut off with my scissors. Don't use good scissors, but I used my just general crafting scissors to cut off the ring part, and then I just glued it down with glossy accents. I used a lot of glossy accents, so it's taking a little bit of time to dry there. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to experiment with painting these stars different colors, because as I mentioned, I thought that the stamp looked a little flat. So I tried those copper stickles that came in the scrapbooking kit, but they didn't look so nice. And what I mean by that is they just didn't coordinate quite as nicely as the gold ones. So I used the gold smooch ink is what I went with, and I'm just turning my layout upside down so I don't get rest my elbow on something that's gonna get smooshed. And I'm just going to take my time and take a lot of ink off of the ink brush. The smooch ink is really great because it's like nail polish, but it has a hard tipped brush instead of, it doesn't poof out when you press on it, so you can get some really fine detailing in with that ink. So I do like to use that for accents. So I really like how that stamp looks now. It just gives it a little bit more, I don't know, energy or interest. I'm going to use my tiny attacher to staple that piece of vellum on in the top corner of that layout. Or sorry, in the top corner of the photo. And now just off camera, I did my journaling and I wanted to make sure that it would fit in the space that I had. I'm kind of terrible at lining up my journaling, and I don't love the way this journaling kind of gets wider and wider as I go. It would have been nice if it had a nice even edge on it, but I'm going to do something to try to compensate for that towards the end. I'll talk about it when I get there. So I'm just copying out the journaling that I did already. And it fits nicely. It's just I don't like how it kind of spreads out as it gets towards the bottom. It kind of makes it look a little bit unbalanced. So I'm going to go back and fix that in a minute in using some embellishments. So there's another stamp. I wanted to challenge myself to use at least 3 stamps, and I ended up using 4. Hooray! I really love that spider, and I thought about coloring it in, but I made the decision not to. But I'm just going to go and show you something here. This is my stickle chart, and look at this black diamond stickles. Those are the stickles that I would use to color in this spider if I wanted to, and that's what the bottle looks like. It actually happens to match my nail polish, and I think it would look good like that with the black diamond stickles on it, except that I didn't want to put any more heavy. I think that would add a lot of weight to that spider, and I wanted the spider to be light because I didn't want, there was already 2 kind of really dark elements up there, the eek and then the moon, and I just didn't want anything else too dark up there, so I didn't color it in. But if I did, I would have used the black stickles and black diamond. So here I'm going to put some of these enamel dots around my layout. I think these are Teresa Collins enamel dots. Yep, they are. And I'm just putting them in a couple of different places just to add a bit of texture and dimension, shiny texture and dimension. And I really love that gray color. It's such a beautiful gray. It's just awesome. It's kind of a very light gray, and it's really, really pretty. And so I'm trying to put these enamel dots on in a kind of a random way. I didn't want them to all be 3s. So I put 3 on the things that go bump in the night and 3 up by my journaling, but I'm going to add a couple more just to try to balance out where my journaling wasn't as wide as I wanted to make it. And then I decided to use this trick or treat sticker and put it right over top of my handwritten words trick or treat. And that just adds another bit of interest. I had to trim it down a little bit so that it didn't cover some of my other writing. And then I used mono adhesive to glue the eek sticker down because it just didn't seem to want to stick to that textured pattern paper. The Carta Bella pattern paper is quite thick and textured. So I think I'm going to show you some close-ups of it now. So there you just see how the top corner of papers come together, and my journaling with that little cluster of enamel dots. I really love the vellum on a Halloween layout. It looks really great. And there's my little plastic spider ring. I love those. They're so cute. Cute and creepy. And so you're going to see some photos after I finish showing you these close-ups. So if you guys have any questions or anything, just leave me a message, and have a great spooky, scrappy week.